Hey, and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be sharing all of the things that I would not be buying for baby number 4. What is going on with my ring light? What is going on? Okay, let's get back to it. Today I will be sharing all the things I would not be buying for baby number 4. If you're new to my channel, I'm Shadiamond, a homeschooling mom to an 8-year-old, a 6-year-old, and a 3-year-old, and I'm also 7 months pregnant. I'm currently in the 3rd trimester. I am feeling all of the nesting vibes, and I've been going through all the things that I kept from my children, like over the years, to see what I need to buy. I've also started to categorize the things that I already have, and just I was like, I love watching these types of videos, so let me come here and share as a 4th time mama, soon to be, things I would not be buying. So this is controversial, I will say that, and I will say that I have only exclusively breastfed all 3 of my kids so far, and that is my plan for baby number 4. So my list is gonna look a whole lot different, for moms who are feeding another way, right? So don't take it so hard. This is just my list, things that I will not be buying, right? This is not to push off anything on you what you should not do, right? I can't control any of that, but let's get started. So number 1 on my list is pacifiers. None of my children have used pacifiers. Like, I want to say I tried to introduce pacifier as a 1st-time mom, because it was the norm, right? Like, I'm listening to other people who, for one, didn't breastfeed, and 2, just keep up with tradition, and it was like, you should give them a pacifier, whatever the case may be. But I know I wanted to exclusively breastfed, and I read up on if you introduce a pacifier too early or bottles too early, it can interfere with their latching experience, confuse the baby, blah blah blah. And also, just from experience of seeing it throughout the years, it is so hard to get kids on pacifiers. Like, once you get them started, they go way past 1-year-old on a pacifier, and that can interfere with their their teeth, how their teeth develop, the spacing, whether they come in properly. So much goes into that, but the pacifier is a comfort measure, and I do understand why people use it. But for me, in my house, we don't do pacifiers. What's the alternative? As a breastfeeding mom, you would know the alternative, right? Second thing on my list is swings or bouncers. Swings, bouncers, jumpers, anything in that category, we do not buy that, right? I had a swing and a bouncer for my first baby who's now 8, and she spent probably less than 5 times in each of them. It's kind of like, what's the point? Like, they're not cheap, the good ones anyway. And if you get the inexpensive ones, they're bulky, they take up a lot of space and they just don't get the job done, in my opinion, right? I've noticed a trend now to where many people don't use the swings anymore. They get the bouncers, or they get something similar. But for me, it's an unnecessary purchase. Baby probably won't even like the bouncer. It's usually a splurge, and your baby wants to be held. Like, I baby wear, right? So, and to comfort my baby, I don't mind put my baby in a carrier and call it a day. So yeah, my 2 cents, right? Number 3 on my list is bottles. As I said, I'm an exclusively breastfeeding mom. I'm not breastfeeding right now, but that's the plan, right? And none of my babies took bottles, right? My first daughter, I would pump milk for her to have when I went to class, like during college, and I would come back to bottles that simply were not touched, right? She would not take the bottle. She would drink only not even an ounce out of the bottles most times, and it's like she would not eat. So I had to come straight to her nurse, right? And it's like, even if I did do bottles, I wouldn't do plastic ones, I would do glass ones. So that's another thing. And I don't just pump just to have like milk on hand for other people to, or give to my babies. So it's not like I'm gonna invest in a good amount of bottles so that when people are babysitting, they can have something to feed them or whatever the case may be. Like, I try to plan my trips around feeding time, so maybe like with 2 to 3 hours or something like that. But even then, like, it's nothing for me to just pick up a glass bottle, singular, for occasional use, instead of buying different types of bottles. Like, bottles, when you get into it, when you're breastfeeding, it's a certain type of child would like, and you have to keep, it's trial and error. You have to keep buying bottles to see what they like, what's closest to mom's nipple and all of that. Yeah, so bottles is enough for me. Number 4 is a crib. All of our kids thus far have co-slept with us. We have utilized bassinets and pack and plays, but the crib has never been something that we invested in. For one, because we co-sleep, right? So a crib is a pretty big purchase, in my opinion. And for something that they will not use, it's just not worth it for me. Okay. Number 5 is a wipe warmer. I did have one my first time around, and I feel like I really didn't use it a lot. I really didn't. Baby will get used to those wipes. They will. Trust me, they will. And even if you do get one, I feel like you will not use it the entire time. You just won't. Okay, so wipe warmer. Number 6 is specific baby laundry detergent. So I was never a Dref fan. You know, Dref, I think that's the most popular one, baby laundry detergent. I was never a Dref fan because of the ingredients, the fragrance, and all of that. Something I've learned to do over the years is buy a detergent that is free and clear, that is unscented, that all of us can use in here. Because if you think about it, if you're only washing your baby clothes and that baby detergent, and you have your clothes and a scented detergent, like, what if it breaks the baby's skin out? Like, it doesn't make sense to wash their clothes in this, but they're still gonna be laying on you or laying on, you know, whoever coming to visit or whatever case may be. So just keep that on the cost, and also like the irritations or possible irritations. We do a 1 set detergent, which is usually unscented, free and clear, or if it's not unscented, then it's a light baby friendly, you know, scent, clean brand, clean ingredients. So yeah. All right, number 7 on my list is baby blenders or food processors or any baby food makers to make baby food. I do understand that most people are not fans of baby food sold in the stores. Neither am I. Never purchased it. Never going to, right? But you don't need specific baby food making appliances to make baby food, right? So if you have a food processor at home, you can do that yourself. If you have a blender at home, a regular blender, you can do the purees yourself. But see, me, I skip the puree phase and I do baby led weaning. So whatever we eat, I cook for baby as well. I may not put as much seasoning or as much, you know, or salt or whatever, but we're not eating different things. We're not doing purees only. We're doing real foods, right? So that's my approach. And I just know, for me, I don't want any extra appliances that I'm not gonna use. You know, I have a good blender, I have a good food processor, I have the main kitchen appliances that we need, and we can make that work for whatever we want to make for our baby. Okay, number 8, a noise machine. Hear me out. So I know they're pretty popular. I see people use them all the time, especially the portable ones. And I'm like, I just never really had a need to use a noise machine, right? I fell into the hype with my son. So about, what, 3.5 years ago, I did get the Hatch noise maker, particularly for the nightlight. I didn't really utilize the sound, y'all. I honestly didn't. I wanted like a nightlight type thing to where I didn't have to turn the light on and wake my husband up when he sleep at night. But even then, I ended up giving it to my children, and they utilized it way more than I did. When I was a first time mom and I wanted to kind of like soothe my baby, I would go to YouTube and type in white noise sound or something like that, because for me, I just knew it wasn't necessary. So it's not a necessity. I did put a little inexpensive one on my registry because it has a nightlight feature, and I was thinking if anyone would use it, it'd be the older kids and not necessarily us. But I don't think a noise machine is necessary. I feel like your baby will adjust to their environment, you know, accordingly. I've never used one outside of the home at all. Never used a noise machine on the go in all of my 8 years of being a parent. So I just don't feel like it's a necessity, right? That's just me. That's just me. Number 9 on my list is walkers. Yes, these are, I don't even think, but you know what, they do. I was gonna say, I don't even think people use walkers anymore, but they definitely do. Like back home, that is just something that, you know, it was the tradition, and yeah, but for us it's a no. I want to say someone bought my 8-year-old one when she was a baby, and I kind of tested it out, but then I was like, this is in no way helping her. It's not, I'm not trying to make her, you know, do things before time. But even now, like, they have the different types of walkers to where you can have a pushing walker instead of the one where you just sit them in and have them walk. For one, it's like bulky, it's gonna be in the way. If you're in a small space, where do you store it? Two, I like to let my children do things on their time. There isn't a rush to walk, right? There isn't a rush to sit up, right? There isn't a rush to do any of those things. I don't feel they're necessary. Now, the wooden walker that you push, that's something different, and I do support those, but that's just not something I'm gonna buy. All right, number 10 is a standalone nursery. Like, no, we would not be doing a nursery. We would not be having a dedicated room for a nursery with a crib and a decor and a recliner and, you know, all of that, because we co-sleep, which means baby's gonna be sleeping with us, and the nursery will not get used. It'll just be a room that's cute to post, but it wouldn't be utilized. Like, it'll be a waste of money in my opinion. And none of my children have had a nursery because, for one, we've kind of always stayed in a small space, whether it was an apartment or whatever. We're in a house now. We have the space for a nursery, but we're not gonna do it because it's not a necessity for us. All right, so number 11 is baby shoes, and yeah, they're not necessary, y'all. Babies grow so fast, they really do. And the problem I've always had with baby shoes is they never fit my baby's feet. Like, for my first two, they had really narrow feet and the baby shoes were really wide. And then for my son, I just never tried, but it's like, no, they're gonna be barefoot or with socks on, depending on where we are, until they learn to walk. And then when they start walking, we're gonna invest in shoes, the appropriate walking shoes, hard bottom shoes, and things of that nature. But while they're babies, they're not necessary. They're not necessary at all, because babies grow so fast, and some of the baby shoes, they're just not gonna fit anyway. Waste of money. Cute or whatever, but no, it's a no for me. And it also interferes with like their sensory experiences. Like, babies need to feel different things on their feet, right? If it's warm or it's weather appropriate, like, they're barefooted, they need to feel things with their feet. And if it's, of course, cold, then it's socks. But yeah, no shoes. All right, number 12 on my list is flashy or noisy toys. This goes from a newborn phase all the way up, because I don't want to hear the noise. I don't. The more the toy do, the less they will do, and it is a no for me. I don't want to hear any noise. I need you to learn how to think for yourself, right? I want you to get the sensory experiences. You're gonna hear noises around you. I don't need lights flashing, you know, overstimulating my baby, and I don't need toys that's gonna have my baby, what's the word I'm looking for? Just in a trance watching a toy do things, and they're not doing anything. So it's enough for me. I'm not a fan at all. All right, 13 is a changing table, which kind of makes sense. We won't have a nursery. I don't think a changing table is necessary. Something that I do invest in is like a pack and play that has a changing table or changing station on there, because I feel like that's, I don't know, it's more appropriate for us. If we didn't have dressers that were so tall, I would just put change them like on the dresser, but ours have a little height and it's not appropriate, right? But changing table definitely not necessary. It's another one of those things that you're gonna buy and probably not use. All right, 14 is high-tech baby gadgets. Things like the Owlet or the Nanit, or it's like the baby monitors that you put on their feet and it measures their oxygen and things of that nature, or the super expensive cameras that let you know when they're moving or whatever. Like, unnecessary in my opinion. Like, it's a splurge purchase. If you got it like that and you want to do it, of course, do you. But as for me, over here, it's a no for me. Like, only necessities are being bought here, and if I want a little extra, I will add it to my baby registry and be like, okay, I want somebody to buy this. But it's not something that I'm just pressing for, if that makes sense. But yeah, even with like baby monitors, never use those. I think someone gifted me one for my son and I used it maybe 2 or 3 times. Now, I am thinking about this though, because I do have 3 kids, right? 8, 6, and 3, and I'm like, you know what? I would love to keep an eye on them. Not necessarily my baby, but on them. What are they doing? But yeah, as far as my baby, like, I'm gonna hear the cries, right? I'm gonna check. I'm gonna be baby wearing. I'm gonna, you know, be there. So I don't think it's necessary. And the last thing on my list is bottle warmers, sterilizers, plastic bottles, as I said. Some other things to just take up space in your kitchen. Bottle warmers, sterilizers, you know, again, like, never use them. I don't buy bottles. Yeah, I feel like, yeah, I'm just gonna leave it. I'm just gonna leave it at that. So those are the 15 things that I came up with that I will not be buying for my baby number 4, and things that I just don't buy anyway in general for my kids. Let me know if this list is a bit different from yours. What are some things that you like, no, I'm not gonna buy this, it's not a necessity? And what are some things that I'll talk about in this video that you think is a necessity? Let me know. I know it's different strokes for different folks, but I enjoy watching these type of videos, so I had to make my own, y'all. And of course, stay tuned for my baby essentials, things that I have bought, things that I will recommend for baby registries, things that are my must-haves. Okay, stay tuned for that video, and I'll see you guys in my next one. Bye.